They're renovating there too.
Okay,
Let me
so the meeting's starting.
tell you,
Right.
let me say one thing about the 125th Street
Ted, the
situation,
meeting just started.
IIT, and that is,
Ted, I think the meeting
Meeting
started.
started, yeah.
oh, okay.
The
Well,
recording is on.
if I don't see anybody, I'm going to tell you my story.
Okay.
There are a lot of people there, Ted. I don't know
Wayne
why you
Reed
can't
is
see them.
closing
Oh.
that store
see
at
them.
25th. And you and I know that there's going to be a big building put in its place.
Well, they
And
haven't closed yet.
the things that they must do is make a plan for access to the subway.
Yeah, well, so far, Dwayne Reed hasn't closed and they're stocking every day, son. I heard that before, but my understanding is that they put a kind of back stepped on those plans a bit. Last I heard. Anyway, the meeting started, so I won't go into it anymore.
Assault, terroristic threats, and weapons offenses along the Schuylkill Expressway by Anderson Channel 6 action is.
Hi, Annette.
Hi, Annette.
Good evening, everyone. How are you guys?
Hi, Annette.
Good.
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Are you amending in this code, Annette?
There's some talking going on, but have you can anybody hear it?
No, they're mute.
You can hear you fine, Peter.
Now it is. Now it is.
Just promoting a couple folks to panelists and then we can begin, I think.
Yes. Well, Samuel, he should be a panelist. He's here.
For the
in the
MVP.
president's office.
All right. I think unless someone's dialed in by phone that I don't recognize, I think we have all of our members and the staff present.
My kid was still at 16.
Ready, Ben?
Yep.
Okay.
Bring up the QR
Victor, I think we should gavel the hearing into attendance and then close it when we're ready to do the general board. Where is the,
give us time to wait.
where is the,
It should be, this instruction.
So you're saying, let's get call to attention, Don, is that what you?
we would call the public hearing to order. This would.
I don't think I'm down to sort of which is testimony. That's what they'll fill out in testimony, the other ones for questions and instructions.
From,
DCP?
Yeah.
Audrey, Jose, and then they have their specialist, Connor Clark is their ZEO specialist and assistant director of policy.
Do you want me to share this right now?
It's true. You're right.
What's that? Share this right now.
I haven't seen.
Yeah, they're on. Audrey, Connor, Jose, do we have you all on as participants? I see Jose. I
Yes,
see Connor. I see Audrey. Okay, great. Victor, of course.
Good evening, all. We're going to start the meeting this evening. Welcome to General Board meeting for Community Board 9 for the month of January. Thank you all for coming out, and thank the guests who are attending as well. We're going to jump right into our public hearing part for the City of Yes. Have presentations from the Department of City Planning, so we can get right to that. Our time is limited in this room, so we want to move things along, and then we'll jump back into CB9 stuff right after that. So online we have, I believe, Jose, Audrey, and someone else from the Department of City. Connor Clark. Can you introduce yourself and you can get started? We're here to hear what you have to say.
sure.
And then I intro for folks of how the hearing's going to go.
Great. Thanks for the introduction. And thank you for convening this special discussion of City of Yes for economic opportunity. Today, my name is Audrey Walks. I'm a borough planner that works with community boards 9 and 12 in Upper Manhattan. And today I'm joined by Jose Trucios, one of the Upper Manhattan team leaders, or the Upper Manhattan team leader, and Connor Clark, who's the CEO specialist and the assistant director of policy and analytics in our transportation division. So thank you so much for inviting us today. I'm really looking forward to this conversation and looking forward to hearing your questions.
Great.
Thank you.
I just want to quickly explain how the hearing goes, how this hearing will go tonight. We're going to hear from DCP. This is part of the City of Yes proposal by Mayor Adams. There are 3 proposals regarding zoning text amendments. These are text amendments to our zoning in New York City. This is what can be developed. This is how it can be developed. This is where it can be developed. That said, the first one was passed already, and that is done. That was for carbon neutrality. This one is for zoning for economic opportunity, trying to provide more economic opportunity for small businesses and such. That is what this portion is. There'll be a third portion called housing, opportunity for housing, and that's coming along the pike next. So tonight we're having this public hearing to get your feedback on these proposals before we make our official resolution on the matter. Tonight's going to be fluid with live edits as we go. But basically what's going to happen, DCP will do a 15-minute presentation on all 18 proposals. It's a very large text amendment. It's been a lot to swallow for us. We've tried our best. The community board has made some initial recommendations, and we've started the reso with that. It will continue to be altered. We'll vote on it, the reso tentatively tonight, but there will be additional comments and recommendations allowed through January. So I want you to know how to submit your testimony and questions tonight. There are 2 forms, if you did not get them, on the table over here. Liz is holding them up now. One form is for your questions for DCP. Please write your questions down as DCP is presenting. And Liz and Tanya will be either giving you a form to ask your questions or taking them up to the front here. And we'll be sure that we have those questions addressed by DCP. And if you want to, you've already done some research, I love you. And please put your testimony together on the other form that Liz is going to show you right now. It asks you to go through all 18 proposals and go approved, opposed, or approved with conditions, meaning I'm good with this, but I want to see some changes. If you say no, say opposed. If you're okay with no conditions, you say approved. Does that make sense? Yeah. Everybody clear? Everybody clear online? If you have questions, please let us know. Otherwise, after the DCP presentation, we will be going one by one through the proposals, okay? And they'll answer questions and we'll get your statements or testimonies if you want to do them live. After that, we will we have to decide whether we want to vote officially after that during the public hearing. I don't know if that makes sense, or we wait until the action items. I feel like we could have you do the votes and put them into the resolution.
We do the votes at the public hearing the same way we do committee votes.
Okay,
And then the board votes on what came out of the public.
got it. Because we're going to be able to have a little time to alter the reso a bit, perhaps in real time too. All right, so with that said, there are some time limits, just so you know, with the comment section, each proposal. Community board members go first, 2 minutes each. Then elected officials, 2 minutes, and then public members and the community at large, all of you, a minute. I know it's short, I know it's quick and sweet, so please keep it short and sweet, okay? But we're limited on time tonight. All right, with that said, I am going to have DCP take over unless there's any questions from the exec committee. Audrey, Jose, and Connor, take it away. This is our short presentation of the 18 proposals.
Great. Thanks so much, Signe. Can you enable screen sharing?
Yes. Did you mention what this was?
Yes. Do you want to share that real quick? Oh, yeah, he's already shared. Just so you know, that QR code, just click it on your phone, take your camera out, point it towards the QR code, and you can go to the online version of the testimony form. You can do it online anytime. We're asking you to do it by the 24th of January so that we can then put our final recommendations into the city. Use that QR code. You should all have, if you're in person or online, you should be able to see all of the 18 proposals here as we go through with DCP. Cool? All right, Audrey, all yours.
Okay, hold on, Audrey. Give me half a sec.
Cool.
Okay, you should be able to share now.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. So just want to quickly thank Community Board 9 for the opportunity to present tonight. Signe did a fantastic job with the introduction. So I am, for the sake of time, going to skip through this slide on economic opportunity and just wanted to emphasize that we're still in public review and that housing opportunity, which is our third and final zoning text amendment, will be coming up for review in the spring. So before we dive into zoning for economic opportunity itself, I'd like to recap what zoning does. So zoning defines hundreds of what are called uses or business types and sorts them by zoning district. It also regulates things like what kind of business activities you can do in your space and how large your business can be. Our zoning rules that regulate businesses haven't been updated since JFK was the president. So the current zoning often places outdated and sometimes counterproductive regulations on business activities. Like, for example, preventing a bar from advertising the time a band is going to play, or setting a strict square footage cap on how much space a bakery can devote to baking. So these are citywide proposals to change our zoning, and they apply to all 59 community districts in all 5 boroughs. But I'd like to zero in on what this could mean for Community District 9. So to start, here's a recent snapshot of the economy in the district. There are about 46,000 jobs, and the private sector employment is at about 99% of the level it had been before the pandemic, so nearly full recovery, which is higher than the Manhattan average economic recovery and on pace with the city's recovery overall. And zooming into the ground level, there's about 1,300 storefronts in the district that are located on neighborhood streets and along commercial corridors, as you can see on the map at the right. And about 10% of these storefronts are vacant, a rate that is lower than both the Manhattan average and the city average overall. So now that we have that community snapshot, I'd like to dive into the ZEO goals and proposals. There's 4 goals and 18 proposals. So the for the sake of time, I'm going to review each one briefly, and to echo Signe, we will do questions at the end. So let's jump in. Goal 1 is we want to make it easier for businesses to find space and grow by lifting zoning barriers so that businesses can locate closer to their customers and serve modern consumer needs. Proposal 1. Today, storefronts that are deemed non-conforming face an arbitrary 2-year time clock for reactivation, or else they have to remain vacant, which is a direct contributor to vacancy in our city. We are proposing to remove that time clock so vacant storefronts can be reoccupied. In many places of the city, we have similar zoning districts that are located along the same corridor or on opposite sides of the street, and yet allow different kinds of businesses. For example, a bike rental shop can exist in one district, but in another immediately adjacent district, one could only open a bike repair store. This is an outdated and confusing set of rules that routinely holds back business location or expansion. We're proposing to simplify the difference between similar kinds of zoning districts to make it easier for businesses to know where exactly they can locate. Proposal 3. We want to allow small-scale clean production like a pottery studio, bakery, coffee roaster, jewelry maker, apparel designer, 3D printer, and things like that to locate in commercial districts for the first time, instead of only being allowed in manufacturing districts. Proposal 4. If one of those clean production businesses I just mentioned wants to move into an empty office building, today they would face rules that would require them to add additional loading docks, even if the business doesn't need them, and even if the building can't physically accommodate those docks. So we want to allow for older commercial buildings to change over time by not mandating a business rework a ground floor to provide new and maybe not needed loading docks. Proposal 5. Today, zoning allows for many buildings to have a mix of residential and commercial uses, but zoning sometimes restricts businesses from being able to use the upper floors. This limits options for new buildings to be built that contain both residences and commercial businesses, or for older buildings to adapt over time. We want to enable renovations or new construction of mixed-use buildings by allowing commercial uses at the same level or above residences, provided that a complete separation of uses is maintained. And Proposal 6. We're proposing to simplify and modernize the 60-plus-year-old terms we use in zoning to classify businesses. It's full of antiquated terms like shoddy manufacturing and typewriter repair, which makes it difficult for new business types like cell phone repair stores to know where they can locate. On to our second goal, support growing industries. Each of the 5 industries highlighted here, urban agriculture, life sciences, nightlife, amusements, and home occupations, faces ambiguity or outdated restrictions in our zoning. We want to address those obstacles so we can help emerging business categories thrive. Proposal 7. We aim to clarify that indoor agriculture would be allowed in C districts so more food can be grown closer to communities. Proposal 8. Life science laboratories right now face confusing and outdated rules that slow the development of new facilities. We would make it clear that labs without the potential for environmental hazard are appropriate in office settings, and we'd also expand where an existing special permit can be used so future labs can locate closer to research centers. Proposal 9. Proposal 9 addresses nightlife. The nightlife sector includes art galleries, concert halls, venues, bars, and food service establishments that are open sometime between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Restaurants and bars are by far and away the biggest nightlife subsector. And right now, these and other nightlife businesses face very confusing regulations on whether they can provide their patrons with things like music, dancing, and live entertainment. So we're proposing to simplify nightlife rules so that activities that can occur within a business are based on the size and the occupancy of the business. So you would only see small venues in a neighborhood commercial corridors and larger venues in places like Midtown. Proposal 10. Zoning has outdated terms for defining experiential amusement businesses like virtual reality or children's arcades, and it often restricts these kinds of businesses to places like Coney Island or the city's industrial business areas. So we would simplify how zoning treats amusements and recreational activities to make it clear that these establishments are allowed indoors and at a small scale on a neighborhood street and at a larger scale in office districts. Proposal 11. Many New Yorkers start their business in their home. Today's zoning allows for a wide range of home business types, including lawyers, jewelry makers, and music teachers, but prohibits specific occupations like barbers and interior decorators. We are proposing to enable entrepreneurship with modern rules for home-based businesses while keeping in place safeguards to ensure that any home-based businesses are being good neighbors. Our fourth and final goal is to create new opportunities for, I'm so sorry, skipped over goal 3. Our third goal is to foster vibrant neighborhoods. Inconsistency in existing streetscape regulations, or in some cases, a total absence of zoning rules, means that there is no way to curb some of the worst outcomes of a business activity spilling out into the public right of way or creating dreary or unsafe conditions for pedestrians and cyclists. Our 3 proposals in this goal are designed to ensure that businesses contribute to active, safe, and walkable streetscapes. Proposal 12. Streetscape conditions like long blank walls and drive-throughs break up retail streets, but in vast parts of the city, there are no rules whatsoever to prevent new buildings that make these undesirable conditions worse. We're proposing to create a consistent and easy to understand baseline set of rules for commercial ground floor design, ones that are more responsive in areas with greater pedestrian activity and more relaxed in the city's more auto-oriented corridors. Proposal 13. Auto servicing and repair businesses are typically treated as industrial businesses and located far from retail streets and residential neighborhoods, but there are some exceptions that allow auto repair and storage activities to spill out onto the sidewalk and neighboring or commercial streets, which can create safety concern for pedestrians and cyclists. So we're proposing to rationalize and consolidate the range of auto servicing uses into two separate categories, light and heavy vehicle repair and maintenance. So heavy vehicle maintenance would be licensed by the DMV and would continue to be allowed in industrial areas, while light vehicle repair could locate elsewhere by a BSA special permit. Proposal 14. Zoning does not allow for delivery activities within buildings except in industrial areas, which forces deliveries onto sidewalks and streets everywhere else. We're proposing a new type of use called micro-distribution facility that will allow these businesses to locate at a small scale in commercial areas. This would encourage local hubs for deliveries and encourage alternative modes of transportation for deliveries. Our fourth and final goal is to create no opportunities for businesses to open. Our zoning resolution contains many kinds of tools which can be used to initiate a discretionary process to change an area's underlying regulations. Some of these include special permits from the Board of Standards and Appeals, City Planning Commission authorizations, and special permits. But we need to update our zoning toolkit so that businesses have better access to pathways that can enable their expansion or adaptation. Our last 4 proposals all create new kinds of discretionary zoning tools for the future economic success of our city. Proposal 15. Many large-scale residential developments, such as NYCHA campuses, are zoned as residence districts, meaning that retail, services, and maker spaces cannot easily locate, and placing residents of some of these large-scale campuses farther away from local goods and services. This proposal would create a CPC authorization to allow up to 15,000 square feet of commercial space in or on large-scale residential campuses to give residents greater access to basic necessities. Proposal 16. Some parts of the city, especially low density neighborhoods in the outer boroughs, are not within easy walking distance of a corner store, and zoning has no pathways to potentially allow a new locally serving business to open. We're creating a discretionary pathway where business owners could initiate a process to locate a new corner store, provided that the store does not generate any environmental concerns or traffic congestion. There are no areas in CD9 where this proposal would apply, but since its ZEO is a citywide proposal, we're sharing it for your consideration. Proposal 17. In some instances, businesses lack options for waiving certain non-floor area ratio related zoning rules. For example, film studios often struggle to build sound stages because of certain zoning rules like yard requirements and setback requirements. Or a clothing store might want to expand to occupy a second empty floor in the same building, but find that the size limitations or location rules in that area prevent them from doing so. We're proposing a process where businesses could initiate a waiver to some zoning rules on a case-by-case basis. Finally, Proposal 18. In some instances, it's our zoning districts, not these discretionary pathways to modify them, that are obsolete. This is particularly true of our city's manufacturing or M districts. Currently, low density options, physical design rules, and parking make it impossible to build loft-like buildings, even in areas where they already exist in these M districts. This proposal would create a new zoning district at a range of densities and heights to be used in future M district rezonings. I'm going to wrap up with quickly with next steps. There's a public hearing on zoning for economic opportunity at the City Planning Commission next week on January 24th, January 24th. And the CPB and the review session is to be decided, but will likely occur on February, sometime in February. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions you have.
For the presentation, very thorough. I've gone over this myself a few times, but I learned something new each time I hear it. So thank you and the team for that. I appreciate it. Questions?
Well, we're going to hold for questions.
Okay.
Until done.
So in the meantime, we have an honored guest. A new council member, Yusef Salam, has joined us. I've asked him to come and speak to us, and he has obliged. So the floor is yours.
Yes, we're going to pause the public hearing.
Yes, pausing.
Just
So
for
we
a
can
few
hear.
seconds. I know his schedule's busy, so I appreciate you coming, and here's the floor is yours.
I'm gonna stand in front of you all, but maybe to the side.
Well, that's the mic, that little owl device. The giant phone.
It's looking at you. It hears and sees you.
All right, well, it's great to see you all. You know, I newly elected to this, not only to the city council.
Oh, this is.
Oh,
You're
that's
good,
right,
you're
okay,
good.
you're good.
They can hear
You're good. But I also got my assignment today. And so I'm proud to announce that I am the chair for public safety for Central Harlem. What that means is that I get the opportunity to take all of my lived experience and really guide the departments that are supposed to protect and serve us to a gold standard of respectability, of accountability, of all of that good stuff that we've been needing in our community for a very, very long time. I have my good friend, my brother in arms, Jordan Wright. He is my chief of staff. And as you know, his father is the great Keith Wright. His grandfather is the late Judge Bruce Wright, Just give it a little bit of pedigree. So even though I'm new to this, and even though I'm new to the law, to city council, I'm not new to fighting for our people. And even though he is a first-time chief, he was my campaign manager. I said, listen, he did such a great job, I had to bring him on to the team. But the good thing about him, and the good thing about our team that we together, is that he was born into the political space, literally following his father around everywhere his father went. And so when I say, hey, listen, how can we get to this, how can we get to that? He already knows who to talk to and what, meetings we need to be at and so forth and so on. So I'm happy to just announce that. And lastly, I am going to fight for you all at City Hall. I'm going to be the voice to echo. Where should it? That would kind of. It'll fall. But I'm going to be the voice for you all in City Hall. I can't wait to serve you. This is really a dream come true in that this is like a full circle. Almost 35 years ago now, my story is known by the world as being run over by the spiteful of justice. And now here I am, 34 years later, coming on 35, being a member of the greatest city in New York, right? Greatest city perhaps in the world. And the beautiful thing about it is that I'm learning, I'm passionate. This is not just, right? This is me coming back out of private life into public life to really do greater good. So thank you for just allowing me a moment to share some words. We're kind of running to other meetings and other things. We just ran from another meeting downtown, Murray Street. We were, right? Yes. We were all over. Yeah. Get up here so fast.
Must be the shoe.
Yeah, but you follow. Yeah, we're here. We drove up and the highway is crazy. I was still kind of what's up going on. Yeah. Funny story. Funny story. Okay. So my wife calls me and she's like, are you still on the highway? And I'm like, no. Why? She said, because they said the cops were chasing a vehicle that fit your description. So this is like real. I said, no, me and Jordan just got off the highway. I'm like literally sitting at the forum. I'm about to go in. She said, so I said, well, read the citizens alert. And sure enough, she just saw like a quick glimpse. And even though it was a car that fit my description, it was not my car. Wrong plates, wrong everything. So everything that went on with me, don't know I'm a law-abiding citizen. That's right. Pull over and stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, back to public hearing. Liz and Tanya will be passing out question forms. They already passed them out. Hopefully you've been writing your questions madly for DCP. We are gonna now, thank you so much. So we resume the public hearing and we are going to look at, these are the community board's initial recommendations as they stand tonight. These can be amended. These can be, of course, added to as we go. So, but this is our initial.
And
so
if this came through.
And this came through the committees, yes. So the Housing, Land Use and Zoning Committee, all our committees took a look at this in their meetings, education, health, economic development, which is greatly impacted, and we got all their feedback. So now, Barry, if I can take it to you to take a look at the reso.
So if you have a question or a thought about a particular item, please write it down and hold it till the end. We're going to walk through what we've drafted so far. So whereas Manhattan Community Board 9 consists primarily of residential districts with and without commercial 1 and commercial 2 overlays. And whereas Manhattan Community Board 9 has minimal C4, C6, and M districts and no C5 districts. M are manufacturing districts. And whereas MCB9 is already one of the most densely developed community districts in the city, and whereas MCB9 already has a shortage of residential real estate and affordable housing, and has long believed that there is a severe lack of affordable housing in the city. And whereas Manhattan Community Board 9 believes that the creation of upper floor retail, expanded storefronts, and corner bodegas will create an increased strain on the existing real estate in the form of greater demand for limited square footage, raising rents. And while MCB9 supports a vibrant nightlife and entertainment employment, it remains concerned about the potential for negative side effects of nightlife in the form of noise pollution and the potential for violence or narcotics activity causing negative impacts on residential units that may be located above such establishments in commercial districts that are overlaid on residential districts. And so aside, if you know Broadway, most of our commercial spaces are on the ground floor of a residential building, which is a commercial overlay on a residential district. And whereas MCB9 similarly believes that the given associated strain from the development increases in floor area ratio, FAR above those normally permitted, should be granted sparingly and only in proportion to the public good that additional FAR subsidizes, like additional building rates or square footage. And whereas MCB9 recognizes that noise pollution is a significant issue in the district, consistently ranking as one of the top complaints reported to 311 by residents. And whereas excessive noise pollution has been scientifically linked to various negative health outcomes, including stress, sleep disturbance, and cardiovascular issues, thereby impacting the overall quality of life and well-being of residents. And whereas the proliferation of commercial establishments, especially those involved in small-scale production, nightlife, and other potentially noisy activities poses a risk of increasing noise pollution levels in residential areas. And whereas many residential buildings within Manhattan Community Board 9 share walls with commercial establishments, making these residences particularly vulnerable to noise intrusion and its adverse effects. And whereas the Department of City Planning has proposed a citywide text amendment into the New York City zoning resolution to support economic growth and resiliency in New York City, the proposed action known as City of Yes for Economic Opportunity is a comprehensive overhaul of zoning regulations that would, one, make it easier for businesses to find space and grow by lifting barriers to enable businesses to locate closer to their customers. Two, support growing industries by reducing impediments for emerging business types. Three, foster vibrant neighborhoods by ensuring businesses contribute to active, safe, and walkable corridors. And four, contribute new opportunities for local businesses to open by establishing new zoning tools to boost job growth and business expansion. City of Yes for Economic Opportunity would support economic growth and resiliency by allowing non-residential space to be repurposed for alternative non-residential uses and by providing businesses with additional flexibility to grow and thrive in New York City. And whereas CEO, Zoning for Economic Opportunities, stated purposes would primarily be to update use definitions and use allowances within existing commercial and manufacturing zoning districts. These changes would clarify what commercial and industrial uses are allowed and define the circumstances under which they are allowed by amending zoning use definitions. The proposed zoning text amendment would also add or modify discretionary actions that could be pursued in the future, including special permits of the Board of Standards and Appeals, authorizations and special permits of the City Planning Commission. Lastly, the proposed zoning text would add new commercial manufacturing zone districts to the zoning resolution that could be applied to specific geographies in the future via a separate rezoning action. No new districts would be mapped by the proposed zoning text amendment. Any proposal that seeks discretionary actions created by this proposed zoning text amendment would require environmental review at the time of application. And the proposed zoning text amendment would apply to all 59 of the city's community districts. And whereas MCB9 supports clarifying language for florists and similar use cases, MCB9 believes that indoor agriculture should not be permitted in commercial districts and should instead be appropriately located in the already available manufacturing districts, outdoors, in the greenhouses, or in special districts where such use is already permitted. And noting with concern our fear that these proposals would put additional strain on other agencies with already tight budgets and limited staff to regulate these new as-of-right opportunities, have the potential to cause significant negative impacts on the quality of life in the district. And noting with concern that many of the agencies responsible for enforcing provisions around environmental and other issues like noise, fumes, and sales of narcotics are already unable to adequately enforce existing regulations as evidenced by the noise issues in Manhattan Community District 9 and the proliferation of illegal cannabis retail stores across the city. And noting with concern that while MCB9 understands DCP's desire to align zoning text use groups with the standard NAICS codes, use group 6 includes both neighborhood serving retail that is appropriate for commercial overlays in residential areas. Examples: grocery and convenience retailers, picture framing shops, record stores, specialty food retailers, book retailers, florists, etc., and uses that may be noxious or hazardous to residents living above the use group, crematoria, electric vehicle and battery swapping, boat fuel distributors, automotive rental and leasing, car washes, etc., which could better serve the public by being grouped into subcategories. Example, use group 6A, neighborhood retail, and use group 6B, commercial retail, and objecting in full to the threat that these proposals may bring to residential units lost to expanding businesses that are given preference by landlords. Therefore, be it resolved that Manhattan Community Board 9 states its approval with no conditions to the following proposals in the text amendment of zoning for economic opportunity. 4, loading docks. 10, amusement. 15, campus commercial. Therefore, be it further resolved that Manhattan Community Board 9 states its approval with conditions to the following proposals in the text amendment of zoning for economic opportunity. 1, reactivate storefronts, conditional on the requirement that the text be amended to require Landmarks Preservation Commission approval in historic districts. 2, simplify district types, conditional on the requirement that transient accommodations like hotels and entertainment uses not be permitted in C1 and C2 overlays in residential districts. 3, small scale productions, conditional on the requirement the language establish guardrails for environmental impacts, including noise, vibration, mold, vermin, drainage issues, and other negative impacts on the surroundings in C1 and C2 overlays in a residential district. 6, use terms, reevaluate the size and scope of use group 6 to include subcategories, as we mentioned earlier, to better distinguish between uses in the new use group 6 that serve primarily residential neighborhoods and do not meaningfully create increased risk of noise, pollution, or other hazards or noxious effects for residential neighbors, including and especially residences located in the same structure as the commercial use group. 7, are in agriculture. Agriculture should not be permitted in commercial districts, and MCB9 supports this proposal only on the condition that it be amended to only include the language clarifying florist type and food-based businesses. 9, nightlife, conditional on the establishment of an uncapped permitting system with no quota or limits for live entertainment similar to outdoor dining, through which agencies that enforce issues relating to noise complaints and the use of violence or narcotics can suspend or revoke licenses and establish stipulations on the behavior of establishments with such licenses. 11, home occupation, conditional on the requirement that the residences used must be a primary residence and that the business space be limited to 500 square feet maximum of existing residential footage, regardless of the size of the residential unit. And the amendment must not allow multiple residential units in a single building to be used by the same home-based business. Streetscape, condition on the requirements describing opacity of windows and doors, auto repair, on language being amended to specify that such use cases are not permitted in C1 and C2 overlays in the residential district. 18, new loft style district, condition on the requirement that these proposals not apply to manufacturing districts in Manhattanville without additional ULURP actions. Therefore, be it further resolved that Manhattan Community Board 9 states its opposal to the following proposals in the text amendment.
If you have any questions already written down, please start getting them from Tanya and Liz.
Therefore, we further resolve Manhattan Community Board 9 states its opposition to the following proposals in the text amendment for zoning for economic opportunity. 5, upper floor commercial. We oppose that. CB9 raises lost residential use units due to preference of commercial spaces by landlords. Proposal contradicts goal of creating housing without access to site potential displacement. We cannot support this goal. CB9 also expects that this proposal would increase quality of life and health complaints, which are already not adequately addressed. 8, life sciences. CB9 is concerned with hazardous materials and outbreaks endangering local residents, especially in high density districts. The board suggests a restriction to only on-site campus labs, not the surrounding buildings, and areas in C1 and C2. There is also concerns again regarding increased quality of life and health complaints being added within current budget allocations. 14, micro distribution. CB9 expresses great concerns that these locations will not alleviate increased vehicle traffic in the district and may increase danger to pedestrians if e-bike use increases. If approved, CB9 requires mandatory studies for specific site consultation with MIPD for traffic enforcement considerations. 16 corner stores, diversity in use groups not applicable to the intention of this proposal suggests that this proposal not include high density areas or in any C1 and C2 zoning. Better waiver process. The Board of Standards and Appeals and the City Planning Commission already have powerful waiver powers under the zoning text. The proposed amendments would enhance these powers and essentially give the CPC unlimited power. The rules, any changes to the waiver process should more narrowly scope to address a specific set of well-defined problems. Therefore, be further resolved, MCB9 calls for stringent noise mitigation measures to be implemented if any new or existing commercial developments, particularly in those in close proximity to residential areas, residents from the harmful impacts of noise.
I think a lot is similar in the rest of it.
Yep. So to speed through, enforcement of strict soundproofing, we call for the establishment of mandatory assessments of potential noise impacts, ongoing community residents, business owners, city agencies to proactively address noise complaints, develop collaborative solutions. Further resolve, we're committed to working with local city officials, local businesses, community members to create harmonious living environments. Stipulates that emphasis be placed on the augmentation of building and code enforcement to encourage responsible development, strict compliance, and we direct the city to undertake necessary actions to implement the objectives and strategies outlined in the City of Yes Economic Opportunity Initiative, contingent upon the aforementioned exceptions and modifications, and to collaborate with local community boards, businesses, community organizations, and other relevant stakeholders.
Gary is going to be an auctioneer in his next life. Okay. So you have seen our stated positions. We want to take your questions and statements, testimonies for the proposals now. So I'd like to start with, can we go back to the page with the proposals on it?
Yes, maybe.
And if you have questions, please write them on your form and they'll bring them up. If you're online, please raise your hand. We'll do a paper form and then we'll do hands online. We're gonna hopefully quickly go through each proposal. Please, 1 minute if you're with the public, 2 minutes if you are an elected official or community board. We'll do our best. I know you're worried over here. I know, baby. I know. Just go to the, it's on the,
Oh, on the one.
it's on this. Yeah. All right,
Oh, this.
right there.
Oh,
That's all 18 proposals.
put it up on the shed.
Okay. Are there any other paper forms? Yep, just bring them on up as you come. And if you have questions online, please raise your hand and we'll call you after the paper form. All right, thank you, thank you. I see these ones are very similar. Who determines the improved guidelines? Do we have Audrey, Connor, and Jose still on the line so that they can answer questions? Just say, yep, here.
We're here.
Okay, great. So we have a question about who will determine the new improved guidelines about clean production noise levels, and another one about clean production. So who is going to determine that?
Just to clarify, the guidelines on how the nuisances or potential nuisances with these businesses will be addressed, or yeah, I'm just what
who will
are guidelines?
Yeah. Clean production noise levels, who's going to determine what's permitted in commercial use?
Yeah, so all businesses will have to follow DEC and DOB regulations, you know, and any other applicable regulation regarding you know, odors, noise, dust, any type of, you know, negative externality, you know, that would come from, running a clean production business. So that is not changing. Just the types of businesses and where you can locate some of those clean production facilities would be changing. Jose or Connor, I don't know, would you like to add anything to that?
I'm here, but I think that is correct. So the enforcement agencies will remain the DEP, DOB, and essentially the clean production. Sorry, it means that it has met a stringent environment standard.
Who's responsible for enforcing some of these possible quality of life issues and such?
For that particular question before, for the environment?
In general, noise complaints, smells, vibration, all these things that could affect residents.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's a process of typically the 311, but in terms of, if it's something related to health, others, it could be DOB will be the first option, Department of Health, DEP, potentially, as we had discussed in previous meetings that we had in terms of the nightclub is usually nightclubs and noise is usually DEP that come at certain hours of the day with, in coordination with the owners to measure the noise levels. So the enforcement will remain the same.
So a follow-up question to that is currently DOB, DEP are the people we rely on for that. And if you call with a complaint, say in a residential building, it often has to go to 311. And we find it in the community and at large that we don't get much follow-up to 311. So now if we put commercial establishments in a residential building, people are concerned about how that will be enforced. And to add to that, the recent announcement by the mayor about cutting back in a lot of agencies, how will that look?
I think, I wish I had a right answer for this on this point. We have all 59 community boards on this process. When I met with you, I invited you to, please add that into your recommendations and to your conditions and resolutions. I think it's a right concern that we all have. I'm also a New Yorker. I am also worried about what is going to happen in terms of enforcement and follow-up. I think, the genesis of this text amendment is to generate economic diversity and economic development of the city, but we also need to be mindful of what's going to happen in terms of enforcement or so. I think, the administration also in the good part, they just launched the CURE program by SBS and NYPD to work with small business owners in a way that is prevented of potentially calling directly the police or 311 to prevent all this the complaints directly. So I think there is work to be done, but I have seen personally that while asking, we are able to potentially not make a trade-off by being able to share this during the, as Audrey mentioned before, at the CPC hearing, right? There's going to be January 24, raise those concerns, and also in your resolutions, there are 59 community boards. We're making all these rounds, and we're hearing the similar concern. We did this also for the open restaurants where we heard those concerns as well, and we, were able to require a plan for the DOT to be able to implement before the implementation of this zoning. So, you had your council member in the room as well, who can also, talk a little bit on the enforcement on the part of this text amendment that is going to be passing soon. So yeah, I welcome the question. I wish I got a better answer than
okay. Good enough.
Thank you.
Thanks. So if you are online again, you can, if you're a panelist, you can raise hand. I believe there's also Q&A on if you want to ask a question in the Q&A. We'll take those from the paper, between the paper. Regarding proposal 12, which, hold on one second. I'm going to take a paper one and then we'll, oh, that was Ewan. Hold on, Ewan. Proposal 12, introduce corridor design rules. Can you clarify how that will affect the structural Structural, does that say structural?
Integrity.
Integrity, cultural integrity of a neighborhood. Corridor design rules. We might want you to clarify so how that will affect, like, give us an example of a cultural integrity in the corridor.
Yeah, I guess in the text amendment, what I read felt like it was like use the same type of font. Like, what does that look like for what makes New York visually?
I see.
And so I just wanted to know, and especially around even translation, like what font are you going to use for different languages? I'm thinking of like Chinatown. So I just want to know how they're thinking about, I'm all about organization, but less about trying to make everything uniform and then losing the cultural integrity of New York City.
Okay, so the corridor design proposal, could you hear her? That was.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. That's a great question. And one that we have not gotten before. So thank you for that. So these rules are designed to combat a common problem where there are, building developers or existing buildings that are being renovated. They don't, in certain rules without streetscape corridor requirements, they don't have any type of incentive to put windows on the side of the building or have any type of, streetscape improvements like trees or planters or, just like things that make the street condition a little nicer. And so that creates these sort of like bland and boring pedestrianscapes and also can pose safety hazards as well. And so this would be sort of mandating having windows, for example, on a certain length of the building, mandating certain streetscape improvements to make the area more inviting for pedestrians. So it's at the discretion, of the building owner or the tenant, what they want to, put in their storefront, but basically it's to, make the physical building and the physical area around the building more inviting. Does that answer your question?
So I don't know if I just read it, but I was also thinking of, there was like, I thought there was language around like visual signage. Did I read that right?
Yeah.
So the question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay, thank you for that question. I'm going to go to online real quick, and I see Yuen has a question. Yuen, are you able to talk? I see your questions in the chat. Well, Yuen's questions are, how do we protect the small businesses against box expansion of combining several commercial spaces on our commercial corridor, which also could change the character of the neighborhood? So how do you protect, like for micro distribution, that was one of our questions. If there are small businesses in the area and we allow micro distribution by the big box stores or possibly big box stores on a corner store or something like that, do we have any safeguards for our small businesses? Is that what it was?
I can take, the short answer on that one is, we don't at the moment, the zoning does not, regulate, does not do commercial rent or residential rent regulation in general. When in the answers that we sent a couple of weeks ago to the board, there are some work that is being done by the administration in coordination with the small business services and the city hall partners. And the work that has done what is called a small business forward, I recall, or business forward report, which is, kind of outlining the protocol and the grants that are going to be available potentially. I asked if those were already, secure or not, but, it was outlined that around $500,000 million were going to be available for grants, and there was going to be also a reduction in the amount of complicated fees and fines that are already given to many of these small businesses to facilitate a process of training and education, but I am unable to speak on the programs or plans for those different agencies.
I have a couple of things regarding proposal 14 micro distribution. One person asking, how will this affect parking? And Daria, we have a question here from you.
So Gary proposes a friendly amendment to include language in our resolution explaining that we are also concerned that businesses that currently serve effectively as micro distribution centers, like Dwayne Reed, where you can pick up a package from Amazon at Dwayne Reed, that those both fulfill that need already and probably don't need competition from micro distribution centers. Right, that's
good point.
That's the point well taken.
Good point. Okay, so how will it affect parking? Yes, that was stated in our reso too, about parking. So we're worried about the micro distribution taking parking and the parking situation. How do you see that relieving car traffic versus adding to it?
I could take a stab at this one. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Connor.
So micro distribution would likely involve a transition from mostly truck-based deliveries to smaller scale vehicles, either walking packages or using things like e-bikes or smaller trucks that are kind of like cargo bikes, new kind of three-wheeled vehicles that don't create as much congestion as large trucks, and they also wouldn't take up as much space at the curbside. So this would actually probably be very good for things like congestion or parking on-street parking availability.
Do we have any small, do we have any sort of test areas for this? Anything that the city has done, anyone has done to test this idea? Because I have concerns that will this really encourage the smaller type?
Because trucks have to unload at the micro distribution.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the city is.
Also, there would have to be more of those small.
And electronic vehicles on the sidewalks are a problem.
Right.
That only works there with 220 apartments.
Hold on a sec, hold on. We're taking one at a time here. Connor, can you give us any insight as to whether there's been studies done on this, to the impact of it?
Or if any of DHL or FedEx wants to do it.
There's a lot of. Okay.
Sorry, yeah. So the first question, Connor, is has any studies been done to see if this regulates car traffic? We wonder if there will be more car traffic getting the packages there. And then have you reached out, was there any reach out to the big packaging companies like DHL or UPS or?
Yeah, DOT is currently doing an ongoing cargo bike pilot, which has been going on for years now. And it's been pretty successful at making deliveries pretty efficiently. As to specifically the effects on congestion or parking, I don't know of specific study on that, but it does stand to reason that if you have less trucks on the street and more smaller vehicles that are more nimble, then it really would cut down on congestion and parking issues. And as far as those companies you mentioned, I know that DHL is involved in the pilot, Whole Foods, Amazon, several different, and I can't verify UPS, but several of those large logistics companies are involved in the pilot.
Has it shown a decrease in parking?
Well, again,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. We've got a couple of questions in the air right now. I heard Shanika earlier, so Shanika, go ahead.
So now 2 points really quickly. That seems to only work for me if the micro distribution center directly serves the neighborhood in which it is in, which would thereby make sense. If it doesn't serve the neighborhood that it's in, then we're still going to get the trucks regardless, because trucks will have to come out from wherever. The next quick point is that small vehicles like cargo bicycles make it easier for the drivers of those small vehicles to break traffic laws, like go on the street, go on the sidewalk, et cetera. We don't have any corral of that now with the e-bikes. They are zipping through, we already have complaints from pedestrians about the e-bikes, so we don't necessarily need more of that. I would like to know what the parameters of success in a DOT project look like. What is successful according to DOT?
Would someone with a microphone mind just
Sorry,
repeating that?
the question, there was a point and there was a question. The point was that, you know, the bicycles and other smaller, nimbler vehicles are posing a problem already on sidewalks with pedestrian safety. And then the question was, what were the criteria for success of that DOT pilot?
On the comment, it's understandable that there's concern about e-bikes deliveries not following the rules, which is obviously an enforcement issue, which the city could do better on. That said, the hazards of truck traffic far outweigh those of e-bike deliveries. And the data kind of bears this out, that, you know, cars and trucks are responsible for hundreds of traffic deaths per year. E-bikes, you know, aren't responsible for any, really. So that should just be kept in mind, that moving to smaller scale deliveries is actually safer than keeping things on trucks.
Okay, is this on the same proposal or a new proposal?
It's on the same proposal.
Can we get Reverend any comments?
Is she on mic?
Oh, she changed it. Rev, you don't have a question, Rev?
No, it was answered.
Oh, it was answered, okay.
Thank you. Yep, Deirdre, and
Let's move on to the next one.
we're
Go
kind
ahead.
of jumping around.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
the
just
time
a
is-
comment, just to add to, Shaniqua, I'm saying that, you know, smaller bike deliveries are safer. Well, some of them park in the truck at a distance, and then they have these little wagons, 3-4 wagons that are attached to these bikes.
Right.
That makes the delivery, but it also goes in and out of traffic, which is definitely still a hazard.
Thank you for the comment. I have a question, which is, does anyone have specific recommendations to modify our resolution? So we took into account the point about signage and fonts. That's been added to our resolution now. And then Darius submitted a written proposal regarding the micro distribution pickup at places like Wayne Reed that's now been incorporated. If there were any others.
Community board members, I'll get to you in 1 second. If any elected officials have questions, let us know. And then the public also can raise hands here and do the chat. Jerry, quickly up.
Given the conversation, I would like to propose a friendly amendment that we do add language regarding the impact of these smaller vehicles, because
Can I just say that our resolution is opposed to this one? We can add a flat out opposed, just so you know, okay? I think that's clear, so.
Lydia had a point I wanted to give her.
Lydia?
General.
Yeah, no, please, we'll take testimony statements, please. Testimonies are allowed at this time.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to say, I don't know if this is going to get upstairs at all, but the presumption is that zoning is the cause of less business in New York City. As everybody knows, you walk down Broadway and all you see are empty storefronts. I talked to some business owners, the few remaining independent store owners, and they'll tell you it's rent gouging, no commercial rent control, it's shoplifting now, it's petty crime, and it's online shopping. All of these provisions in the city of EF seem to be interested in attracting huge corporate businesses, not the kind of small businesses that serve the community at large. I mean, I could go on about this because I'm old enough to have seen what's happened in my neighborhood around Morningside Heights. One store after another, small business, serving the community. I don't see this as anything but giving a big yes to big bucks and big real estate in the city, which has made life intolerable here for many of us for the last 25 years.
Thank you, Lydia. Okay,
Forgive me,
Carrie?
I'm sorry, I haven't been able to get a whole thought out, and I know we're in a hurry, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but we did have points about, even though we did deny that, we did object to this, we did have points. And one of them being, you know, the impact of the amendment that I suggested before. Yeah. I definitely do think that there should be another one added regarding, because if that is something that they think is a good thing, having these smaller vehicles, it is not, especially not uptown. I don't know about everybody else's neighborhood, but we have a real problem with these dangerous motorized vehicles on our sidewalks.
Okay, Clayton is taking notes, so that'll be added to the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, any other community? We have Rev, and then we're going to take public and community. Okay, just 1 second. Rev, you're going to be the last community board comment and question.
No question. I just wanted to say that in listening very closely, you guys have done a lot of great work, and I think that we should definitely look at moving with your proposal.
Okay, thank you. So now, public members that are here, I see this young lady here. Please introduce yourself.
I have it's an issue when the city allows people to have the cost, come for noise. But what about if the person has an issue with smoking cigarettes? They have no preference for that on 311. They do not at all. And it's not right. Because, they already made a law for cannabis. But what about people that can't take smoke? What about people with weak lungs? What do? You have to call the fire department, or you call the ambulance. They do not have anything on their about people that smoke constantly, because if it's not in the lease, they can smoke in the apartment.
We'll add that as a friendly amendment to the types.
They need to do something about cigarette smoking. Increase. People have weak lungs. We this thing up in Canada, right? Everybody, the environment has changed. Everybody has weaker lungs. It's not right. If people want to smoke, go outside. I have an issue.
Got it.
Years.
Thank you.
They should add it to 111 as a call list of complaint too.
Yeah. So I have just a kind of thought generally to explain the resolution that I read through, which is the resolution, Community Board 9, again, primarily has residential zoning with commercial overlays. We have certain areas that are pure commercially zoned, like they're usually standalone commercial buildings like on 145th Street and Broadway, those like CVS Rite Aid building, the McDonald's building, et cetera. And we have manufacturing districts along 12th Avenue in the Manhattanville Factory District. So many of these either would generate increased noise or hazards because they apply to all commercial districts, but our commercial districts are in residential buildings, or they try to space for activities that are already permitted in manufacturing districts, which we have an abundance of, and that are not, fully leased. Our manufacturing buildings are completely leased up and bursting at the seams. We have an entire science building on 126th Street in the Tasty building that is not quite empty, but pretty empty. And so why would we allow laboratories, for example, in commercial spaces when we have plenty of laboratory space that goes unleased? And so many of our responsibilities deal with the fact that most of our commercial areas are in residential buildings, number one, because they're overlays. And number two, these don't seem to, and number three, there isn't a good in the new use between things that you wouldn't mind living above, like a grocery store convenience store, a record shop, and things you wouldn't want to live above, like a crematorium or a battery charging station that could catch fire or what have you. So that was and then the final theme is that many of these presuppose that, oh, well, if it does generate noise or fumes, you can call 311, DEP or the police will respond. And we know that that already doesn't work. It's not working now. And so to further give this carte blanche is not something that we want to do. So those were kind of some of the general themes that kept coming up in our committee discussions that made their way into the resolution, if that's helpful context.
Yeah.
So that's what the community board has already come up with. If there are any other proposals to amend our resolution, that would be good now. Otherwise, I think
We'll take
We're gonna move forward.
Yeah.
one more question if there's any from the public.
Good job. Very good job.
Seeing none, I believe we'll take this back up under action items, or well, we need to vote, don't we?
So
Okay.
we as a board,
We as a board.
we will take a tally of votes by CB9 members, a vote of public members of CB9, and a vote of members of the public in attendance.
Okay, of each proposal,
No,
Or-
resolution,
the resolution now?
our resolution,
Now.
yes. This is a
Okay.
public hearing, so.
Yeah, so now we're gonna go through the votes for our resolution. I would also like you to fill out your form that goes through each proposal and let us know what you think of each one, okay? You can fill that out and you can leave that with us at the front here, okay? But for now, we want to get your general opinion of these proposals. And we're going to go through community board members and then our public members, which are Tanya and a couple other people from different committees that are public members. And then we're going to go through general yay or nay from the community and folks that are here from the community. Thank you for joining us.
So the stuff that I'm highlighting is here in yellow is just the friendly amendments that we took. So 2 points on micro distribution centers. The point about the corridor design regulations on font. And then those also made their way into the therefore be it resolved parts about those same things.
And again, you can submit your testimony online as well and vote online and let us know your thoughts until the 24th. Just use that QR code. It's in the flyer that the hearing instructions today and the flyer that we sent out, okay? You can do that. All right, so vote.
Yeah, I'll call it real quick. If you got the attendance sheet handy. Or roll.
Solomon tonight?
I'm gonna call it real fast. April Adams, how do you vote? Okay, Joyce is excused. Walter Alexander, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Evely Antoine, Jane Arundel, Miriam, Chris Berry, Patricia Caldwell, Dan Cohen, Juan is excused. Carlton Davis, how do you vote? No. No. You're voting against our resolution. Right? Okay, if you vote yes, you're voting in favor of our resolution. If you vote no, you're voting against our resolution.
So right now, we're overall, it looks like approved with conditions on our side, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, we said no to some parts, yes to others with conditions, and yes to 3.
yeah.
Some with conditions and so on, we be all legal.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're flat out opposed,
got it.
So there's a lot of stuff I just don't know.
Okay. So no is a no.
I'm taking it to business.
No is a no. No is a Sharon, yes. Ms. Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Elizabeth Eastman,
Yes.
Victor Edwards. Yes. Lydia Garrison.
No.
Lydia votes no. Daria Hardiman.
Yes.
Yes. Monique, how do you vote?
Yes.
Laquita,
Yes.
Michael Iglesias.
Yeah.
Heather Jason,
Yeah.
Pat Walter Johnson,
I vote yes.
Tiago Keel,
I vote yes.
Ted Kovalev. Ted, welcome back. Tina Lumley, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Don Martin. Deirdre, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ilana Mercado,
Yes.
Ken Miles is on LA, Dr. Manguia, Clotilde Manguia, how do you vote? Thought she was here. Okay, I'll come back. Reverend Morgan Thomas.
Very comprehensive, yes.
Thank you. Signe Mortensen.
Yes.
Juanito Valle. Solomon Prophet.
Yes.
Carlos Ramirez. Patricia Ramos. Annette Robinson.
Yes.
Amir Sadehi.
I vote no.
No. Clayton Sanford.
Yes.
Carolyn Thompson.
Yes.
Hugo Torres Fetzko. Edwin Torres. Liz Whiteakis. Francina Waring. Francina Waring votes yes. Barry Weinberg, yes. Shanika Wilson.
Yes.
Elisa Yu. Abstain. Okay. Public members, if you can identify yourself. Tanya, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tanya votes yes. Do we have other public members from committees in attendance?
Anybody online?
Okay, I'm going to mute a couple folks who voted already and remained unmuted. Patricia Caldwell, I see you online. How do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Ted Kovalev, how do you vote? Ted Kovalev. Okay.
I think he's muted, Barry. He's on. I think he's muted.
Yeah, all right. Any members of the public who wish to cast their a vote or a voice in support or opposed? Members of the public in attendance? Just state your name and your vote.
It's Ewan.
Yeah.
I have a comment.
No, Ewan, we're voting.
No,
Well, okay.
Ewan,
You want to vote, Ewan?
Well, I'd love to vote to support the resolution, but my only concern is that there's too many unanswered questions. I mean, overall, so, you know, if I could, I don't know, vote with the conditions that the community board will take in consideration the comments that will come later that you're asking.
Everything will still be accepted.
it's a yes or no, because our conditions are in the reso.
Yeah.
All
Jared,
right, well,
do you
those
wanna
are my
vote?
comments. I can't give it a blanket yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I'll vote no.
okay, ma'am, what was your name?
Rachel. Yeah.
What was the last name?
It's Ray, R-A-E.
Okay, Rachel Ray votes no. Thank you.
I have another over here. State your name.
Yes. How do you spell the last name? Is it a B or a B as in Victor? B. Okay, and how do you vote? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else to want to be on the record?
And if you're in the attendees list and you want to vote, put it in the chat, because I see, I saw
Jared is here, yeah, he says
I'm
yes.
Oh, Jared, how do you vote?
I vote yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. Any other votes? Going once? Going twice? Okay, the tally for community board members is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 in favor. So that's 27 yes. The noes are 1, 2 noes, and 1 abstention. The vote of public members is 2 yes. We have Ewan abstained, and then we had 1 yes from the public, 1 no from the public, and I guess 1 abstention.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's the public hearing business. Victor, if you want to close
And
this out.
when we do, are we still needing to do some?
Then we vote on this again as the reso. Yeah.
We do, okay.
Thank you. Thank you both and the team for this great work.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you for being part of the process. Really, this is what it's all about. There's still comments. You can still put your comments in. Please do online.
Still a work in progress. I
We
attended
haven't
Borough
selected
Board
them
this
up.
meeting and this morning, and we went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Was still some confusion and a lot of hesitancy, but we're moving forward.
And the city planning commission and the city council will also have public hearings on this at which you can testify.
Great.
I don't believe. we
City
have a
Planning
date.
Commission is having a hearing on January 24th. Audrey, Jose, do we have a time and a link and things like that?
If you do, send it to us.
Yeah, we
Please
will.
put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat. I think they're still finalizing the agenda. It's going to be a very long hearing day. But let me try to find that for you.
All right, everybody that can go, please go.
And thank you to Jose and Aubrey and Connor and everyone from the DCP who has been helping us navigate this 1,200-page text amendment.
Housing opportunity next. Thank you.
All righty, so at this time, we'll call the meeting to order. A motion to adopt the agenda would be in order. So move, second, and minutes from last month. Second. Second. Okay, great. I'm gonna run through quickly. My chair's report is in your packet. You should vote on those motions. My chair's report is in your packet. I just want to add a couple of things to it. One being, I wanted to again thank the CB9 staff for a great celebration we had at the end of the year. Give them a hand, please. Thank you for their hard work and putting that together. Also, I know on the agenda, we have residential parking. That was a topic of discussion at the Borough Board amongst many of the other community board chairs, looking at congestion pricing, what will happen to our areas. So I know we have that on the agenda today as well. The other item is one that troubles me quite a bit, and that is in-person attendance. I still attend many of the meetings in person and virtually, and I still see a lack of it. Next month, we will be doing attendance reviews, and I can say for myself, I'm very strict about that. If other people take the time to come to these meetings, I expect everyone else to do that if they're in good health and they're in the country. So we can't do business without a quorum, and we don't need to come to these meetings and watch the door every time and count coming. And that's what we do every time we're here at committee meetings. We have co-chairs that I've been to the meeting. It's 2 co-chairs and 1 member. So as I've said before, it might not be the time for you to be on the board. You might have other responsibilities you need that are more important. So if that's the case, then you take the necessary actions so we won't have to. Okay, that's how it's run. This is business and this community needs you, but we need people who are going to attend the meeting so we can vote. Okay, so with that said, the treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report is in your packet on the green page. You see it?
Oh, any, okay. It's in the packet. Yeah. District manager's report.
Good evening, everyone. The district manager's report is in your packet. I'm sure the borough president's office will reiterate, but I just wanted to inform you that the application process for board membership is open for reappointment and new appointment. If you know anyone that would like to serve on the board, please encourage them to go to the borough president's website as well as Community Board 9's website to fill out the application.
Okay, thank you. West Holland Development Corp.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, this is Pat Watley Johnson. Good evening, everyone. My report is in the package. Just a quick summary in the interest of time. The process for identifying new board members is still ongoing. And as soon as there's more information, I will report that to the board, to the CB9, of course. There's a job opportunity at WHGC. They're looking to hire an administrative assistant. The description is here, but if you want more information, go to the website at the WHC website, westharlemdc.org, and you can get more information there. The deadline is close for business tomorrow, January 19th. Everything else is basic. I just want to let you know, there's any questions that anyone has about the report. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Pat. UMass, anything, Reverend Morgan Thomas from UMass? Have you met recently?
Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. My report will be brief, and because of time. UMass has had a total of $986,000 given out in terms of 23 micro and 2-term loans for fiscal year 23, 4 of which were made to cultural organizations, which will strengthen those organizations. And then this year was a big push. UMass is creating articles of amendment to their incorporation to continue to create investment opportunities, but to also to prepare children and youth of our community for leadership, for work, and for more productive futures by linking them to further employment opportunities in the growing future industries in our city. Not much else is going on, but that's a real biggie because UMass has been in operation for many, many years. And this upcoming year, hopefully we will see a lot of opportunities for our youth and our young people, as well as there will be a move to restore and maintain the physical environment of our communities. So, not limited to, but especially including housing and other infrastructure and open spaces so that we can make our communities more safe. Thank you. And any questions?
Appreciate it. I just want to jump 1 minute back to West Hall Development Corp. Pat, you still there?
Yes, I am.
I spoke with Ziad recently, but I just wanted I want to reiterate this point, that when the grantees are awarded, they have 5 months to come and present at the committees. What we're finding is they wait to December and then they all rush to the committees, especially arts and culture and youth educational libraries. So they can make the point that they should schedule this earlier, because we can't take 10 or 15 people at a meeting to present. So if you could just take that message back for me.
Sure.
And reiterate that.
Sure.
Thank you. Next, the Borough President's Office. You still online? Porfirio?
Yes, I am. How are you, everyone?
Great, thank you. Good to see you again.
Thank you for allowing me to report. I'm here in Mina's absence. My name is Porfirio Figueroa. I am the Community Coordinator for Manhattan Borough President's Office and liaison to Community Boards 11 and 12. Community Board 9 is very close to my heart, as it used to be one of my assignments. So it's great to be here. In the interest of keeping the report short, Yutha was correct. It is that time again for the Borough President's Community Board applications process. The portal is now open and live on our website. We value everyone's voice. So from all backgrounds to come and to serve on their local community boards, we encourage all of you to reapply and to also share the information with anyone who might be interested in serving in civic government. It's also time for capital budget request. So our budgets unit recently hosted 2 webinars on applying for capital funding via our office. If you are interested in learning more about applying for these funds, you can watch the webinars on our website. And the application process is open through our portal through February 22nd, and the deadline is a sharp 5 p.m. on February the 22nd. The Manhattan Board President, Mark Levine, called for the city to create a new push to improve mental health care for homeless New Yorkers and help solve the mental health crisis in New York City. So the plan is 6 points to help solve the behavioral health crisis by expanding the number of long-term psychiatric beds, increasing initiatives to add the severe shortage of clinical staff in behavioral health services, providing concrete steps to develop more supportive housing, expand community-based and peer-led programs, double the intensive mobile treatment teams for street outreach, and giving EMS workers the ability to provide opioid withdrawal and treatment medications. Mark Levine, the Manhattan Board President, feels our city has a moral obligation to build a better system that serves New Yorkers with serious mental health issues by acting boldly and quickly to address the human tragedy which we see continues to play out on our New York City streets. That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Any hands up, I see. Questions?
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say I saw support and so glad that
Can you, may have to move up?
oh, I'm sorry. I support Borough President Mark Levine's efforts to move on this issue of people living in the street, in the subways, in the parks. It's a mark of a society in decline, and I think it's an issue that has not been looked at. We need to put funding there because it also affects the quality of life. And also, by the way, businesses in the city. We talk about people that are so desperate that they're shoplifting all over the place. So I'm really very happy that the borough president has done this, and I hope he will consider running for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I will relay the message.
One more question, Alana.
Hi, so I'm really happy that the borough president is taking mental health seriously, and I'm really happy to hear about this initiative. One thing I'd like to add is an emphasis on age-appropriate mental health treatment. For example, there are certain hospitals that put children in the psych ward with adults. Yeah. And I personally had a terrible experience with that with my child, which is Mount Sinai. We also had a pleasant experience at Bellevue because they had an age-appropriate psych ward for adolescents. And it was like a night and day. So I can't stress that enough. That has to be part of the initiative because we have a crisis in terms of mental health crisis with our youth as well. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You raise a great point, and I will definitely bring that to the table.
Thank you.
Thank you, Figueroa, and it is always good to see you at CB9. Either you by yourself or you representing an elected, so we're always happy to have you back here.
Thank you.
I don't see any other hands, so thank you for the borough president's report, and we're now going to move into public session. We have 3 folks signed up for public session. As a reminder, each speaker gets 3 minutes, and I will have my timer running, so you'll hear the chime when your 3 minutes are up. The first is Tara Knuckles. Apologies for the pronunciation if I butchered that. Tara or Tara?
Carolyn saying
from Reading Partners.
Carolyn. He wrote out a paper.
Okay. Then Corey Ortega from the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce.
here. Corey, I know you're here. How you doing, everyone? So I have 3 minutes. First of all, hi, my name is Corey Ortega. Let me first start off by apologizing for not being able to attend the last couple of premium board meetings. My mother was ill and I had to travel outside the country. That really just changed my life, and especially, thank God I have an understanding wife. I had to leave New York City for some time. So I'm back now. The good news is.
Another better.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the good news, when I came back, I was made aware that Community Board 9 had written a letter of support for the New York Women Chambers of Commerce with regards to their 2024 Merchant Organizing Grant. And because of your efforts, the Women's Chamber of Commerce received that grant. When I came here and I was at a tree lighting.
2024 Republican primary are changing.
What?
Somebody has her TV on.
That does not count against my time. And I was actually at a tree lighting here in our own CB9 district, and through conversations, I was offered the position of manager to manage the new Merchants Association. So this is the announcement. We're grateful to Community Board 9, and I'm looking forward to working with Marita Dunn and Joyce Akawami with regards to the Economics Committee. I also want to give a special shout out to Laquita Henry. Before I came on, she guided, held our hands, and really gave all the institutional knowledge from the original Merchants Association, the Harlem and Sugar Hill Business Alliance. So I don't have more information than we're gonna have our first merchants meeting for merchants in February, and we have to build this from the ground up. So it's re-engaging the merchants, and I'm glad the presentation was here. I took a lot of feedback with regards to Community Board 9's position with regards to the proposed changes to businesses. But we're going to start engaging the businesses and then starting a new board and then discussing what direction we want to take this, of course, with our partners at Community Board 9. That's it. Thank you for having me.
All right, and then do we have meeting partners here? In the absence of them, I'm actually the only other speaker, and I am here to remind everyone. I sent an email. You can start my timer. I sent an email to the co-chairs about this earlier this week. Discretionary funding applications are open. You heard Porfirio Figueroa from the Borough President's Office talk about capital funding. The City Council has expense funding for discretionary programs open now. That application closes February 20th. These are for nonprofits that are doing work in the district. If you know or have nonprofits doing work with children, seniors, the arts, there's a wide list of initiatives that I encourage folks to look at and applying. You should actually apply, reach out to your council members' offices to make an appointment to speak to them. You can also turn to the board for some advice or guidance. Again, it's council expense funding application starting February 20th. Borough President and Joint Council Borough President capital applications are due February 22nd, and council-only capital applications are due March 21st. Capital funding goes to bricks and mortar things or specialized equipment. It's great for parks, senior centers, schools, NYCHA, et cetera. There's a lot of rules around it, so you can look at the council website and the Borough President's website for those, but that was my announcement. Our district should actually have a bunch of nonprofits, schools, parks, et cetera, applying for these funds so that we get our fair share. And you can ask me questions after the meeting if you have. Great, that's public session. Next up, we have elected officials. Oh, and Victor's back. Victor, we have Jocelyn Minaya from the DA's office on. Okay.
She's of course Jocelyn Minaya.
Oh, good evening, Jocelyn.
Good evening, everyone.
Happy
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all. Mr. Chair, Yuta, and everyone. I bring you greetings from the Honorable Alvin Bragg, your DA, and looking forward to 2024 and continue collaborations with Community Board 9. I have 3 very brief announcements of upcoming events. The first one is the Harlem Community Clean Slate Briefing. Hopefully, we have all heard of the new clean slate legislation, which automatically clears eligible records for people who have completed their sentence and have remained crime-free. This event is going to take place on Wednesday, January 24th, and it's going to be at First Corinthian Baptist Church at 1912 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard from 6 to 8 p.m. The Honorable Council Member Yusef Salam, which I saw speak earlier, will be one of the speakers, along with, of course, the DA and Pastor Michael A. Wallenrod Jr. of First Corinthian Baptist Church. So I hope that you can help us spread the word and that you will be able to join us so that we can learn more about this legislation. And there will also be public defenders on site to provide free confidential legal advice about specific cases with whomever wishes to engage with them. And there will also be employment services available on site on that evening. So we're looking forward to this very informative briefing. And then also we're in January. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. You know, before I joined the DA's office, whenever I heard human trafficking, I always thought that was something that happened elsewhere, you know, overseas, or, you know, it didn't touch our communities, but sadly it absolutely does. And when we talk about human trafficking, we're talking about sex trafficking as well as labor trafficking. So to that end, we are partnering with the Northern Manhattan Alumni Chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. And we are going to have a forum on human trafficking, what it is, the public health issue that it is, and learning ways on how we can possibly identify it if it's going on close to us, and what we can do about it, and how we can raise community awareness. So that's going to take place on Saturday, January the 27th, from 10 to 12 p.m. And it's going to be here at the Washington Heights office building on 166th Street on the second floor. I did forward the flyers to Yutha, and she's been so kind to share. So if anyone is interested, please touch base with Yutha, and she will give you the flyer, the information, or you can give me a call or an email and I will send it to you. So I hope that CB9 and community will be able to join us on this day as well. And then finally, our high school internship program is the application process is up and running. We started last week. As usual, I implore my CB9 family to please help me get the word out. We want as many kids from CB9 to take advantage of this opportunity. And this year is going to be a little different. It's going to actually be paid. So it's not going to be a stipend based. They're going to be paid on an hourly basis. And it's going to be a regular 9-to-5 job. So I'm very excited about that. That means more money in our youth's pocket for the summer and for their back to school endeavors. So I really, really hope that you can help me spread the word on that as well, and help me get as many youth from CB9 as we possibly can. You know, we often hear about all the horrible things that youth do, and we rarely shine the light on all the wonderful youth that we have in our communities and all the wonderful things that they do. And I always want to highlight the positive in our kids and be able to elevate them in this manner. So I hope that you can join me in getting the word out and getting as many of our kids take advantage of this opportunity as we possibly can. And that is all that I have. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yes. Barry has
one question. It's very specific. I don't expect you to have an answer right away. We have in CB9 an establishment that was theoretically shut down, but is still covertly operating illegally, which is a billiard spot on Broadway between 139th and 140th. And they were operating without a liquor license. The owners were arrested, I believe. But people continue to use that venue for parties and other things that greatly disturb the neighbors. And I'm hoping that your office will be able to help by beginning an action with the landlord to require the landlord to evict them under the same statute that we used for both drug dealers in the 80s and then also illegal cannabis stores more recently. So that's something I'd love to put on your radar if it isn't there already. I think you are familiar with the establishment, but it continues to be a problem in our neighborhood.
Hi, Barry. How are you? Very familiar with the new situation. You are correct. It was shut down. I have heard from several concerned residents that they are back up and running. So I'm doing my thing with the 3-0 precinct, and hopefully we can get a resolution for that sooner rather than later. So thank you. And yes, I was aware and I'm working on it, Barry.
You continue to do the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's awesome.
Yes.
Is there a flyer when the event at
The question was if there was a flyer for the Clean Slate event at First Corinthians.
Yes, we have the flyer. We'll send it to you.
Great.
All right. We got you. Thank you. Next up, Tiffany Brown from the mayor's office. Are you on?
Tiffany, I'm gonna try to promote you. No. She is no longer on already. We still have Miriam and Zoya from the Assembly members.
Miriam Hernandez from Assemblyman O'Donnell's office.
Hi, everyone.
You're
How's it going? I'm gonna turn on my camera, but it might be a little, I'm in the office, so it's a little bit weird. Okay, I'm here. I want to wish you all Happy New Year. I just have really one update, which is a event that we have going on. It's a book donation drive. We are once again partnering with Project Cicero. And they're a great organization. All of the books that we collect will go over to schools throughout New York City so that students can get to enjoy them. We will begin our collection February 1st. So this is going to go on from Thursday, February 1st, all the way to Thursday, February 29th. And we'll accept the new and gently used books here at our district office, located at 245 West 104th Street. This is Monday through Thursday only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And once again, I want to reiterate, they're going to students. So if you can just donate books that are in very good used conditions, that would be perfect, and make sure that they are appropriate for children in grades K through 12. But if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is 212-866-3970. And that is it for me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next up, Al Taylor's office.
Zoya Abbas.
Zoya Abbas.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Zoya Abbas. I'm the Community and Communications Coordinator for Assemblymember Al Taylor, and I'm pleased to have some announcements for all of you. I've left some materials at the office, so we just recently got the parking calendar in. So please pick one up on your way out. So the Assembly member, first and foremost, this Saturday, we will be having an event at Common Ground located in the Valley, 8th Avenue, 149th Street. And this will be an opportunity. We're hosting our first coffee chat of the 2024 year. And this is an opportunity. We invite all of you guys to attend, to talk to the Assembly member one-on-one and to express any grievances, concerns for the neighborhood, or things that you guys would like to see from the Assembly member. We highly encourage any and all people to attend. The whole staff will be there, and we hope to see you there as well. Additionally, on January 31st at 6 p.m., located in Esplanade Gardens, which is also in the Valley, we will also be holding the Assembly members' first listening tour. So this will be an opportunity for you not to only talk to the Assembly member, but also additional representatives from various organizations. The more information on that will be sent out. I believe that all the information for the listening tour is also located there as well. As some of you guys may know, the legislative session began in January, so we are very excited for the legislation session to begin. We recently had a press conference for Medical Aid in Dying Act, and you can see more information on that through the Assembly members' website. We have a QR code located on all of the flyers where you can access all of the recent interviews and press conferences for that information. As far as that is concerned, I believe those are all of the announcements that we have. We will also be having more coffee chats and listening tours coming in the 2024 years that will hopefully be located more on the west side, a little bit more accessible for residents if you are not able to make the events in January. Of course, if you have any questions and concerns, our district office is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we are also open at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Fridays. Our phone number is 212-234-1430. And if you have any questions, I'm also going to link my email and the phone number in the chat. Yeah, and we appreciate your support. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you today. But thank you. That is all.
Thank you, Zoya. Any questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. That ends public session and elected officials as well. We will move into our action items, getting back to the City of Yes zoning for economic opportunity text amendments. Turn it back over to capable hands of the two of you.
Okay, what's our goal now?
What more is there to say? Does anyone have any discussion on the resolution?
This is official community board vote. Liz?
I want to make a motion.
Can I make a motion for unanimous consent? I'll second that.
Made by Liz.
So explain what their vote.
So Liz has requested that our resolution giving feedback and conditions on the ZEO text amendment. She's moved that our resolution be approved by unanimous consent, and Daria has seconded. That means that the chair, yes, and Ted is also seconded. That means that the chair will ask if anyone opposes unanimous consent. If someone opposes unanimous consent, then we will go to a roll call vote.
So I just want to comment really quickly before somebody opposes. I think it's important that even if you have a disagreement with what's in the resolution, to not give blind support to politicians who may not have the best interest of the communities. While you may disagree with whatever's in the resolution itself, I think it's very important to realize the purpose, which is to amend, critique, and ultimately further discuss this bill. So when you vote no on this, you're essentially just giving a rubber stamp to city council or to whichever politician you so choose, and you're essentially just saying, yeah, okay, whatever, right? So it's okay. I mean, you can have more conversations about this, or also attend public meetings if you have particular concerns that are not addressed in the resolution. But I hope that we support this resolution because there are obvious flaws in this bill as is. Thank you.
Thank you. Shanika.
Can I flush that out really quick? Just really quick, I wanted to say that they are likely going to do what they want to do anyway. That's why it's important that we state our opinion and our voice, of course, we wish. There you go.
Call in the back.
Personally, like I stated, my no was a no to be a no to let everybody know that is not to clarify in all the daily question that you're supposed to get. Once they clarify, that's when you should really say, okay, let's take a look at this. You know what I mean? Because a lot of this stuff in here is just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so it's ambiguous.
But have you known to go back and say, oh, you were wrong? When?
Well, here at least we're giving them some direction and
That's
input.
what I'm saying.
That's what we're trying to do.
You know, what I'm saying, my note was like, to let you know that there's a lot more in.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
Liz.
That was it.
And I would just continue on that sentiment as co-chair of Housing, Land Use and Zoning. I kind of think it was offensive that the city made this enormous proposal and made us all go through this. 1,200 pages, 18 proposals, completely ambiguous.
I'll go on record 20 hours a week in the last 30.
I don't know, they're right. I mean, how many meetings did coming over my house, like going through it repeatedly to understand this massive proposal? That's not just one, but it's one of three. And there was a comment by DCP at the end of our committee meeting that perhaps this will continue. Like this may not resolve itself in the timeframe that they're proposing, which will just continue to put pressure on all the community boards and all of us. And I think I mean, as a volunteer, like this took a lot out of me to go through this. And I think it's unfair that the city puts proposals like this together that expects volunteers to review proposals that are this.
Agreed.
Yes.
Consultants.
We gotta
Move to vote. All right.
Okay, move to vote.
It's now closed on this.
Move to vote.
I heard a unanimous consent and seconded.
Is there opposition? Alton's voting no, correct?
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to do.
Roll call. All right, roll call. So April Adams, how do you vote on the reso?
Yeah.
Joyce, Walter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Evely Antoine, Jane Arundel, Miriam Mercy Ferrer, Chris Berry, Tricia Caldwell, how do you vote?
I voted yes.
Thank you. We're doing it again. Dan Cohen, Juan Colmenares, Carlton Davis, no? Yes, no. Sharon, how do you vote? Yes. Okay. Keep it up. Ms. Dunn?
Yes.
Dunn votes yes. Elizabeth Eastman, how do you vote? Eastman votes yes. Victor Edwards?
Yes.
Judy Garrison? Abstain. Terry Hardiman? Yes. Monique Carton Cordero?
Yes.
Laquita Henry?
Yes.
Michael Iglesias? Yes. Heather Jason? Patricia Weiler Johnson?
Yes.
Tiago Keel?
Yes.
Ted Kovalev?
Yes.
There we go. Tina Lumley? John Martin Green? Peter Ratcliffe Brown?
Yes.
Alana Mercado?
Yes.
Ken Miles? Dr. Mongoya? Tel Mongoya? Reverend Morgan Thomas? I'll come back. Sidney Mortensen?
Yes.
Juanita Ochovalle? Solomon Prophet?
Yes.
Carolina Ramirez? Patricia Ramos? Annette Robinson?
Yes.
Amir Sadeh?
I vote no.
No. Carolyn Sanford? I'm sorry, Clayton Sanford?
Yes.
Carolyn Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. Hugo Torres Fetzko? Edwin Torres? Liz Whiteakis? Francina Waring? Carrie Weinberg votes yes. Shanika Wilson?
Yes.
Elisa Yu? Abstains. Okay, going back, Reverend Morgan Thomas?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Mongoya? Anyone else I missed? Okay, that's a wrap, folks. So on the yeses, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 yeses this time. On the noes, we have 1, 2, 2 noes. And on the abstentions, we have 1, 2 abstentions. Okay, the vote is 28 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 abstaining. Mr. Chair?
Just for, yeah, sorry, for clarification, you voted twice.
We voted twice because the first segment of our meeting was a public hearing.
Oh,
And then we only gaveled into order at 7:25 or something. Yeah, so the public, yeah, the public hearing finalized and took in everybody's opinion, including the public. And then now we just voted to approve what the public hearing sent out.
Okay,
As the board. Yeah.
thank you, Barry. Next up. Residential parking. Rita, on residential parking. Coming out of our
Yes,
committee.
at our October 2023 meeting, a resolution was presented because we knew the issues would be forthcoming and wanted the community to have a voice. At that meeting, even though we knew we would leave time for amendments, we voted to move forward and offer amendments for the future. That vote was, I believe it, we had 7 present and 1 was a no to promoting residential parking, our resolution. And the others voted yes to move forward with the amendment and still be out with the resolution, still be able to offer amendments. Actually, the amendment that you have in the kit is not the one I sent on Tuesday, but you know, it mirrors it and it's pretty much the same. Primarily, we are resolving to support the promotion and implementation of residential parking. And at the same time, we encourage the exploration of sustainable transportation alternatives such as electric vehicle charging infrastructure and expanding bike sharing programs. But we wanted the to really protect the residents and have, I emailed, again tonight, the one that I had sent over, that had incorporated more of the edits, but it's still pretty much the same. But it's not the one that was emailed on Tuesday.
Okay.
But it's the same,
Laquita?
it's pretty much the same wording.
Laquita, I've just been informed that we have someone from Councilmember Brady's office here, which I missed
Okay.
during the electives.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't mind, let's hear from them before we vote.
Okay.
I am so sorry, Gabriella.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. Tonight, I'm excited to share some great news regarding Councilmember Sean Abreu. At today's meeting, the New York City Council voted to elevate Councilmember Abreu to the chair of the Committee on Sanitation and Solid Waste Management. This is a really important committee, and it marks a continuation of council members' work to close equity gaps in sanitation services in underserved communities, from establishing rat mitigation zones to implementing a trash containerization pilot program. Councilmember Abreu has made sanitation the cornerstone of his policy platform. I look forward to updating you on the work he accomplishes as chair. Now, I want to close by sharing 2 community events that are happening in the coming weeks, both of which I'm very excited about. I will circulate the flyer for you to share. The first is an HRA Fair Fairs event that's happening on January 29th. The Department of Social Services is going to be at our district office hosting HRA Fair Fairs enrollment event, giving eligible New Yorkers the opportunity to get a 50% discount on subway and eligible bus rides. We welcome you to stop by. They'll be there from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You're welcome to call our district office if you'd like to book an appointment slot, but walk-ins are also welcome. And what I'm even more excited about right now is the dog and cat adoption event that we're having at the district office. So it's a free event where there will be dogs and cats that you can adopt. So the Animal Care Centers of New York City are hosting a mobile adoption event at our district office. You can come by from 12 to 4 p.m. on February 10th, like I said, to adopt a new furry friend. And that's all I have for now. Thank you for fitting me in. Have a good night.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
Yes.
One quick question, because we gotta go. We got 15 minutes.
Congratulations on a council member appointment or new position. My question is, in that role, will there be an opportunity to get more trash cans or containers on the streets so we could properly dispose of our garbage?
So
Can we get more trash cans?
Trash cans on the corners.
And containers.
I definitely think that's what Councilman Sean Abreu stands for. And we're definitely working on our end. We're receiving following up on 311 complaints nonstop when it comes to litter baskets and getting more receptacles on the street. So I'm sure that's coming soon.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys.
And apologies again, my oversight, please just.
You're totally fine, Barry, don't worry.
All right. Back to Ms. Laquita Henry.
Yes, Laquita,
Okay,
I'm
and
the
I-
resolution.
Yes, you have the one that I emailed Noel. Anyway, that one, well, anyway, it's pretty much the same wording. It's not the one that was sent, but it's pretty much the same wording. Okay.
Okay.
And
Any
it has,
questions on the resume? Oh,
I was reading the whereas and it does not mention, and perhaps it's not appropriate, but I'm just gonna say that, that our neighborhood is it's the parking lot for people that come over the bridge. And then it's not mentioned. Is that something that we could put language in about?
Laquita, did you hear that point?
yes, I pretty much heard it and I'd say yes.
Okay. Friendly amendment to add that, with congestion pricing coming, we're just gonna see an increase of people parking uptown areas.
So the language would be a last whereas clause, whereas CB9 has for years endured people from New Jersey and other places driving to the city and parking on our residential streets to then take transit into the city. And MCB9 expects that this will only worsen with the new implementation of congestion pricing.
Yes.
Semicolon and.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yes. Thank you, Barry, volunteering to do that.
Thank you, Barry.
Any other questions, suggestions, comments?
Ted here.
Yes, Ted.
I don't think I saw this come from Uniform Services Transportation.
It didn't. No, it came from health.
I know that, but I
Okay,
think
we're on the same page.
much more
Not today.
that should be coming out of at least a compromise with the Uniform Services Transportation Committee.
Yes, we did send it, Ted, back in October. Yeah, and there was some conversation, but we didn't get any additional feedback.
All
So
right,
it
well, I cannot vote in favor of something that came out of the committee.
All right. So noted. Moving on.
Vote. Okay.
Vote. Move to vote. It's been second. Let's vote.
I suspect, all right, want to call the roll?
Second.
Unanimous consent, but we already have it. No.
With the.
Ted objects to
Ted
unanimous
objects,
consent.
so we have to, we can't do.
Right.
Any for them.
Ted, unanimous consent has been requested. Do you object to unanimous consent?
Yes, I do.
I also object to unanimous consent. I'm calling the roll. April Adams, how do you vote? Abstain. Joyce Adewume, Walter Alexander, how do you vote?
Yes.
Walter votes yes. Ebly Antoine, Jane Arundel, Mary Mercy Ferrer, Chris Berry, Reverend Patricia Caldwell, how do you vote?
I'll abstain.
Dan Cohen, Juan Colmenares, Carlton Davis. Carlton abstains. Sharon De La Cruz.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Dunn.
Yes.
Yes. Elizabeth Eastman.
Yes.
Victor Edwards.
Yes.
Lydia Garrison.
She walked away.
She'll be back. Daria Hardiman.
Yes.
Monique Harden Cordero.
Yes.
Laquita Henry.
Yes.
Michael Iglesias.
Yes.
Heather Jason. Abstains. Tricia Butler Johnson.
I'll abstain.
Abstains. Tiago Keel.
Yeah.
Votes yes. Ted Kovalev.
No.
Ted votes no. Tina Lumley.
Yes.
Yes. John Martin. Deirdre McIntosh Brown.
Yes.
Ilana Mercado.
I'm gonna abstain.
Abstains. Ken Miles. Dr. Mongoya. Reverend Morgan Thomas.
Yes.
Signe Mortensen.
Yes.
Juanita Osawaye. Solomon Prophet.
Yes.
Carolina Ramirez. Patricio Ramos. Annette Robinson.
Yes.
Mir Sadeghi.
No.
Votes no. Clayton Sanford.
No.
Carolyn Thompson.
No, with the understanding that only remarks was sent back and was never got back to the uniform service, so no.
So noted. Hugo Torres Fetzko. Edwin Torres. Liz Whitetakis.
Yes.
Francina Waring.
Yes.
Barry Weinberg votes yes. Shanika Wilson.
Yes.
Elisa Yu. Abstains. All right, give me a moment.
Lydia's back.
Oh, Lydia Garrison, how do you vote on residential
Residential
parking?
parking.
No.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so under the yeses, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Under the nose, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Under the abstentions, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 20 in favor, 7 opposed, or 20 in favor, 5 opposed, 7 abstaining. It could pass.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank
Moving
you.
on. Next up is adult use dispensary license canvas applications.
Yes.
Okay, so we, sent out invitations to those who applied for, dispensary, establishments there, legal establishments in CB9. Haven't had a chance to meet with everybody like we wanted to. Putting out aside the people who did come before us, we had a discussion with some of the individuals, and you'll see before you, comments that, that we made in terms of, objecting or supporting the establishment of said legal residences. And, I'm not sure how much I should be going into detail because time is limited, but we did have some concerns. And, based on those concerns, which are listed here, I believe we only supported one, legal establishment in CB9, and the rest we objected to for a variety of reasons. Be it, let me finish my thought, Daria. Some of the reasons that we objected to the establishments were based on either them being too close to a house of worship, or being, in some cases, too close to schools, being near a school or a park where children might congregate. And in some cases, and I just went out of my head, forgive me, because it's the bewitching hour. I had another thought. There were some concerns. Oh, the one concern was that an establishment was looking to be, a legal establishment was looking to be established in a place where an illegal establishment was already present. So, based on some of those things that I just stated, and there are other members here if they want to interject, most of these establishments we objected. And even with the one that we said we would support, there's a concern about it being too close to an illegal establishment. And we're hoping that something will be done to top down the activity of the illegal establishment so that we don't have too much activity happening, in this case on St. Nicholas Avenue. So those were the comments. Darren, if you want to add something?
Yeah, just really quickly, I believe in the note, when we were going back and forth, that we said that the illegal establishment should not affect our vote for this. So the way that it's written, it sounds like we are counting the illegal establishment. So I would, request that be rewritten or deleted. Also, this particular, I would request that on the bus and student NYC, that it also be noted for the record that these two were both invited to present to us, but did not. And lastly, Altitude NYC is located next to a couple doors down from the Mennonite Mission, which I emailed about. So therefore, I believe that should be an objection as well.
I have a question. Altitude is the one we're recommending in favor of, correct?
Yes.
Where's the?
Circulating.
Right.
Yeah, they did not show up. Right. They did not come before us, and they're located about 3 doors away from the Mennonite Mission.
Status quo, we're objecting to why? They didn't show up?
No, they did show up.
But they're illegal and operating currently.
Correct.
And A, B, and MP, we are objecting to because?
We have concerns as to whether or not the person who was presenting before us is actually the owner or in control of the ownership for the establishment. We believe the person might not be.
And on the bus, they not
Legally in
show up?
charge of that establishment.
Right.
Okay, all right. So do you want to amend Altitude to support, because it says pending approval. Are we supposed to support approval for that? Supporting approval?
They're 3 doors down from a house of worship. No. Like nobody is.
So the church going to,
No, not the Kingdom Hall. The Kingdom Hall is downtown a bit, a few doors down. And the Mennonite Mission is a few doors uptown of it. So it's very close to a house of worship.
So then we should not, based on that, because the focus was Kingdom Hall as well. So we can very well be amended to.
So that's right near the supermarket? Oh.
Now, on the bus though, where is their house of worship on that block?
Is that Antioch or St. Joseph's?
That's St. Joseph's on the corner of 125th and Convict Morningside.
Yeah.
Right on the corner.
If that's the only, if that were the only objection, I would still be in favor of supporting them, but if they didn't show up, then that's not a good sign.
They did.
Right.
But I think that it's not good to vote against every application.
I have concerns about that too. If we put all these stipulations on, nobody can open and we're trying to find a legal way for folks to get in, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's especially bad to condition someone's approval on the actions of someone operating an illegal shop, because they can't, like the applicant can't control that, and hopefully the legal one puts lights and fire on it, took us supposed to shut down the illegal one.
Correct, but they're also the one that's close to the Mennonite.
Right.
But
In this particular case.
I did have the person who is currently running the illegal establishment. I think that I abstained when he voted. And, you know, they did have the nerve to come in and face us and try to do this the right way. They're trying to legitimize this. And we gave him a very hard time. And I actually stopped in and talked to him, and he said he felt attacked. And everybody in the meeting has
He had a lot
said,
of nerve.
He shouldn't feel attacked, he's running illegal cannabis still.
Exactly.
I was there with Terry and I have to say that he wants to find legal avenue. So.
Yeah, but after the fact.
One of the suggestions to this person was to shut down, get licensed and reopen. He refused to do that.
he refused. He didn't refuse, he didn't say anything.
He refused.
He didn't
And
say
he has
anything.
3 other stores. He has 3 other stores.
Thousands of dollars, he has employees, like, that's what it is. I'm not fighting his battle, because he does have an illegal establishment. But what I'm saying in support of what Signy was saying is, we cannot say no to everyone for all these reasons. And of all of these people, to me, he is the only one in terms of, he's not near a school, he's not near a house of worship. And he did, although he is running this illegal establishment, he's somebody who's always been.
He wanted to get involved.
And he literally, we asked him all the questions, and he literally didn't.
And he's still
doesn't
open.
really know what the rules
He's
are.
still
He just
open and
heard
making money.
people, so he ran and just opened it. And he was trying to jump out in front and ran and opened it. And then he comes before us and clearly finds out.
I understand what you're saying,
after the
but you have to take into consideration, he was shut down once, told he was illegal and opened up right back up again.
I do
And
understand.
he's still
that.
open. He's still open.
You know what I found out?
There's nothing to say.
Yeah, he's still
We
open.
can show up.
Yeah, that's nothing to say.
Quickly, Carlton, quickly.
I was also at the meeting.
Yes.
Stephen.
Right.
And, also was up at the Hollywood Grocery Store. Last summer.
Okay.
And they were open and I told them. And, they had license in, don't have one now.
Right.
I wanted to support them. I even sent a message to Omar from Golf and Buzz. They know each other, give each other encouragement.
Okay.
And it just didn't happen. And as far as these establishments, I don't know, we may know it. But they're too sure.
Well, some of them don't have the one, like, Elm Street is not open.
And most of them are not open.
Right.
Most of them are listed here, not open yet. Only that one's open.
Right.
They're doing it, putting an application to open.
Right.
So is there any way that we can actually go and pay them a visit?
No, they're supposed to come to us.
No, I'm just.
Most of them didn't show up.
We work with you, so.
No, what I'm saying is, we invite them to the meeting, and several didn't show up. The ones that did show up, we asked specific questions, and some of them, close to a schoolyard and other things that came up. That's how it works. They don't have a space, so they come and meet with us. No, I can't. The bus, yeah, the bus we didn't, meet with, correct?
No, we didn't.
They didn't show up.
They didn't show up.
Their mailing address is in Massachusetts. I just want to add that.
Call for a vote.
Yes.
But when I vote yes, I'm voting yes to opposing.
What's the reso on altitude? Are we supporting or?
So altitude,
No, I don't support it.
yeah, I think that's, right, that's one was approval stipulation.
I'm less concerned about the email. But if they didn't show up, then.
Yeah.
Right.
Call for a vote.
Wait a minute, can I have a question. I have a question.
Oh, shit.
It's a quick question. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very quick, please. We're turning the lights out.
Has been, if someone who has been selling marijuana on the street or whatever, and now wants to become legal, they're gonna be open to, can they reapply for a license at a location for a dispensary?
Yes. Apply, yes, they can apply.
What is the likelihood of them receiving an approval to their application?
It's done on a case-by-case basis.
Right, at the end of the day, it's gonna be decided by the Office of Cannabis Management. And then during the lottery system to decide who will be approved.
Now you want to call a roll for a vote? Let's take a vote.
Oh, God.
What are we voting on altitude? Are we voting to support or oppose?
I agree to oppose.
Yes,
Thank you, that's all.
but what is, are we voting to support altitude or oppose?
If we were gonna say no because they were by the Kingdom Hall, why aren't we saying no because they're by the Mennonite Mission?
Correct.
I don't, why would we?
You're right.
Yeah, I know there's no to all of that.
If we oppose them setting up their dispensary there, legal or illegal. Is that what we're saying?
No, it's not about location.
It was about the location.
Yeah, that means you're agreeing to what the reso says.
Right. Say it's okay to be there.
Before we vote, we need to know, what are we recommending for altitude,
Exactly.
approve or disapprove?
And are we voting on the guy that came with the illegal stores?
I'm asking the cannabis task force.
I mean, I was gonna say approve because based on the conversations we had. In terms
Based on the conversation.
the email conversation and the, I mean, Kingdom Hall it's not Kingdom Hall, what is the other location? I mean, if they're active and we know that's in the guidelines in terms of location near house of worship, if that's a house of worship that's active, then we should vote against it.
And they didn't show up.
Okay.
So no.
Oh,
No.
no. Do not support.
So we're opposing all four.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, fine.
On the bus didn't show up.
Objective.
We are objecting on the bus. Because it's there. The outside, and the printout shows that we are objecting because it's there worship.
Okay.
There is updating it, so all four are no.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna call this, you are to vote 4 times. One.
It sounds
on-
like it needs to be tabled.
Fine.
Second on the tabling. Second on the tabling.
So-
I second tabling this.
Table it.
There's a timeline.
Can't table on a timeline.
So I'm calling the vote. I am instructing folks, when I call you, vote 4
Point
times.
of order. Point of order.
Ted,
We
I'm
have
calling a
a
vote.
table which has been,
No.
point of order,
Good night.
point of
Victor has
order.
asked me to call the vote. A table would have been appropriate during
order.
discussion.
It's a
Yes,
table
Ted.
on the, session here, it has to be voted on first.
I would request that Reverend Morgan Thomas withdraw her motion to table.
I withdraw.
Thank you. Okay.
Then I
Now,
motion to table this, voting for these resolutions.
there's a movement by Amir Sadeki to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
What?
Yes.
Why are we tabling it? We're holding.
You guys wanted it now, this week.
Make it automatic. Madison has
Second.
helpfully noted that we are at the end of our time to comment. If we table this, we will not get an opportunity to comment on any of these applications.
Well, if that was the case, I would like to
So we'll
just,
be on we'll have no record on the matter if we don't vote.
I would like to be on record for this, saying that I,
Okay, I'm calling a vote on the motion to table put forth by Amir Sadeki, seconded by Ted Kovalev. If you vote yes, you vote effectively to give Alice give no comment. If you vote no, we will continue with the vote after this. So, April Adams, do you vote to table?
No.
April votes not to table. Joyce, do you vote? Joyce is not here. Walter, do you vote to table?
Table, yes.
Eve Lee Antoine, do you vote to table? Jane Arundel, Miriam Mercer Ferrer, Chris Berry, Reverend Caldwell.
no,
No. Dan Cohen, Juan Colmenares, Carlton Davis, do you vote to table? No? No. That's a no. Sharon Dela Cruz, table? No. Ms. Dunn, table? No. No. Elizabeth Eastman, table? No. Victor Edwards, table? No. Lydia Garrison?
No.
Gary Hardiman?
No.
Monique Hardin Cordero?
No.
Laquita Henry?
No.
Michael Iglesias? Heather Jason?
No.
Harold Johnson?
I vote to table, yes.
Okay. Tiago Keel, table?
No.
No. Ted Kovalev?
Yes,
Table.
table.
Tina Lumley?
No.
John Martin Green? Deirdre McIntosh Brown?
No.
Lana Mercado?
No.
Ken Miles? Dr. Magoya? Reverend Morgan Thomas, table?
Table.
Yes. Sidney Mortensen?
No, sir.
Oh, Juanero Chevalier, Solomon Prophet? Says no to table. Carolina Ramirez, Patricia Ramos, Annette Robinson,
No.
Mayor Sadeghi,
Yes to table.
Clayton Sanford.
Yes.
Carolyn Thompson,
No.
Hugo Torres Fetzko, Edwin Torres, Liz Whitetakis.
Oh.
Liz votes no. Francina Waring abstains. Barry votes no. Shanika Wilson.
No.
No. Elisa Yu.
No.
No. All right. The motion is defeated. I'll count it later. So now we're voting on these 4 objections. Please give me a yes, 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 a no, no, a yes, 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 a no, 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 a yes, no, yes, no, vote 4 times in the order that they appear on your pink sheet. So April Adams.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. Joyce, Walter Alexander.
I can't see the resolution, so I'm gonna abstain.
yeah,
Walter abstains. Eve Antoine, Jane Arundel, Miriam Richard Ferrer, Chris Berry, Reverend Caldwell.
if we vote no, that means that we oppose to them opening up next to a house version.
If you vote no, you are supporting opening them or supporting no comment. If you vote yes on these we are objecting. If you vote yes, you are voting to object.
I vote yes.
Okay. Dan Cohen, Juan Colmenares, Carlton Davis. Yes to all 4? Okay. Sharon Dela Cruz.
Yes, Chopper.
Okay. Ms. Dunn.
Come back to me.
Elizabeth Eastman.
Yes, it's a no, that's the no.
Thank you. Victor Edwards.
Yes.
All 4? Lydia Garrison.
Yes, 4 times.
Gary Hardiman.
No. Yes, yes, yes.
No, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Monique Hardin Cordero.
Yes, 4 times.
Laquita Henry.
Yes.
Michael Iglesias.
Yes, so.
Heather Jason.
Yes, 4.
Pat Waller Johnson.
Yes.
Tiago Keel.
I would say remote.
Ted Kovalev.
Yes, but I really would like to know what the turn on the last votes were.
Okay, I will count it in a moment. Tina Lumley. Tina?
Tina.
Tall four?
Yes, I'm voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Martin Green, Deirdre McIntosh Brown.
Yes, I'm.
Yolanda Mercado.
Yes, Madam Board.
Ken Miles, Clotilde Mongoya, Reverend Morgan Thomas.
Yes,
Tall four?
to all four.
Signy.
Yes, henceforth.
Juan Eros, Solomon.
Yes, all four.
Carolina Ramirez, Patricia Ramos, Annette Robinson.
Yes, I object to all four.
Amir Siddiqui.
These are 4 resolutions opposing, correct?
Correct.
So I vote no on all 4 then.
Thank you. Clayton Sanford.
Abstain on all four.
Okay, Carolyn Thompson.
No, 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 no.
You oppose all of our objections.
Oh, I oppose. Oh, four.
Okay?
I don't have my sheet.
Hugo Torres Fetzko.
Yeah.
Wait, Carolyn, are you opposing the licenses?
You don't want them to open, correct?
Excuse me?
Are you opposing the licenses?
Barry, I don't have the paper in front of me. That's why I said I objected.
Do you support the near churches?
So. I'll come
How
back.
about no, yes? How about no, yes, 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 okay? Does that
No,
work?
yes. Sure. Hugo, Edwin, Liz.
Yeah.
Francina Waring. Yes, all 4? Barry Weinberg votes yes, all 4. Shanika Wilson.
No, yes.
All right, and Elisa you. Which all 4?
Yes, all.
Okay. All right, you're gonna have to give me quite a moment. And, okay, so we have.
Phone and the computer from the TV, but I'm done with the meeting now, I just voted.
Young says yes.
So
This
let
done?
me, I'm gonna put the dogs
Yes
in
to
the
all four.
basement.
I gotta. Okay, so if you give me a moment. Okay,
And please don't forget that I wanted to know about the previous.
oh, I have not forgotten, Ted.
Ted, you call him, I need to call him. No.
What?
Thank you.
This time one.
1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25. So 25 yeses on the first. On the first, we have 1 abstention, 2 abstentions, 3 abstentions. And on the first, in terms of no's, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 25 yeses, 4 no's, 2 abstentions on the first. On the second, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 yeses for A, B. And then 1 abstention, 2 abstentions, 3 abstentions, 3 abstentions again, 3 abstentions for all. Save myself this time. And for AB on the no's, we have 1 no, that's not a no. We have 1 no. Oh, that's 2 no's? No, 1 no. That's not possible. 1 no. I think there's 1 no. For ABs. I'm missing something, but I'll come back.
Status quo is 3.
Hold on. After I'm done counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 yeses again for OTB and 3 abstentions. So we have a no from Amir. And that's the only no I can see.
One no?
Okay, I'll come back to it. And then the last one out to would be again 27 yeses, 3 abstentions and 1 no. Amir, you voted no on everything, right?
That was what I. Yes, he said no on everything.
Yes,
anyone else
sorry,
vote?
I had trouble unmuting. If the resolution is
Did
opposed
anyone
to,
else vote no on everything?
What was the
I don't
last
think so.
one?
The other ones were for the first.
Carol voted no, yes, he says yes. No, yes. Yeah, all right, so the first one passes 25 yes, 4 no, 3 abstentions. And then the rest pass 27 yes, 1 no, 3 abstentions. I'm missing a no, but oh well. All right. I'll find it.
Okay, we'll go to the table, good?
Can you call us with it tomorrow, Barry?
I mean,
Yes.
And you're gonna do the friendly amendment to the housing?
yeah. All right, that's the votes.
Hey, I still haven't heard yet about
Right, and the vote for tabling.
on.
All right, Senator. Any old business?
No.
No.
Old business? Any new business?
No.
Motion to adjourn, be in order.
So moved.
Opposed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 no's to table.
Thank you, Bruno.
Opposed here.
And 1 abstention to table. Tabling failed. Tabling failed, 4 yes, 24 no, 1 abstention. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
Night. Hope to feel better.
But I think we did. Listen, when we have public hearing, I need to get on. Only got it.
I second.
Adjourned at 9:20 p.m. Good night, everybody.
Oh, God.